Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're diving into a topic that's really important for so many people, especially here in North Karnataka: psoriasis. We're going to play detective a little bit, look at the mystery behind this condition, and break down all its causes in a way that's simple and easy to understand. So, let's get started.
So first off, what are we actually talking about when we say psoriasis? Well, it's a long-term skin condition. You'll see these red, dry, and scaly patches that can be pretty uncomfortable. And look, this isn't something that just comes and goes in a day. It can be part of someone's life for years, with times it gets really bad and other times when it calms down.
And that, of course, leads us to the big question, right? The real mystery we're trying to solve. What is the actual cause? I mean, why do some people get it while others don't? It's a question that I'm sure many of you have thought about.
And here's our first major clue. The answer, well, it's not that simple. See, psoriasis isn't caused by just one single thing. It's more like a complex puzzle, a combination of a whole bunch of different factors all coming together at once. So let's start pulling apart that puzzle piece by piece.
All right, our investigation is going to start from the inside out. We're looking at two really key internal factors: the genes you're born with and your body's own defense system.
You've probably heard this saying before, and for psoriasis, it really holds true. If it's in the family, it comes to the children. If your parent or a close relative has it, your own risk is higher. Now, I want to be super clear about something. This is not because it's contagious. It absolutely isn't. It's because the genetic tendency for it can be passed down.
So, how do these genes actually work? Check this out. Normally, your skin takes about a month, 28 days, to create new cells and let the old ones flake off. But with psoriasis, certain genes send a faulty signal that puts this whole process into hyperdrive. We're talking new skin cells being made in just 3 to 4 days. The old cells just don't have time to shed, so they pile up, and that pile-up creates those thick, scaly patches we call plaques.
This is such a perfect way to describe the other part of this inside job, the immune system. Think of your immune system as your body's guards, They're there to fight off infections and enemies. But in psoriasis, these guards get confused. They start seeing your own healthy skin cells as a threat, and they launch an attack. It's like friendly fire. And this attack is what causes the redness and inflammation, and it's what tells the skin to keep making those new cells way too fast.
Okay, so we've seen how the internal stuff, your genes and your immune system, kind of sets the stage. But now, let's look at the outside world. Let's talk about the external pressures from our lifestyle that can actually pull the trigger on a flare-up.
Let's be real, life is stressful. The pressures from work, worries at home, financial stress, it all adds up. And this isn't just a feeling. It is a medically proven major trigger for psoriasis. When you're stressed out, your body releases hormones that can mess with your immune system, basically telling it to go into attack mode, which fuels that inflammation and can lead directly to a flare-up.
So, what's the takeaway here? Managing your stress is a huge part of managing your psoriasis. And the great thing is, there are really simple but powerful things you can do. Just taking a little time to rest every day, maybe trying some breathing exercises like pranayama or some gentle yoga, even just making a daily walk a regular habit can make a huge difference.
Next up, let's talk about habits. Things like drinking alcohol and smoking, and that includes cigarettes and the bidis that are common in our region, are known to make psoriasis worse. Why? Because they directly increase inflammation all over your body, and they mess with your already confused immune system. You're basically just adding fuel to the fire. And of course, what you eat matters. Some foods, like really spicy or deep-fried things, or even eating super late at night, can ramp up that inflammation. But on the flip side, embracing local staples like jawar, bajra, and navane, and filling your plate with fresh fruits and veggies, and drinking plenty of water, that can help calm everything down and really support your skin's health from the inside out. All right, now for some of the unexpected accomplices. These are the things that you might not even think about, but they can suddenly trigger a flare-up out of nowhere. Let's talk about injuries and infections.
You ever notice how psoriasis can sometimes show up right after someone's been sick? That's a real thing. An infection, even a simple sore throat, kicks your immune system into high alert to fight it off. But sometimes, after the battle is won, the immune system doesn't quite stand down. Instead, it turns its attention to the skin. This is a super common first trigger, especially for kids and young adults.
Now this next one is really fascinating. It's called the Koebner Phenomenon. Basically, it means that if you have psoriasis, a new patch can pop up right on the spot where your skin gets injured. We're talking about a simple cut, a scrape, or even those minor injuries that are common if you work in farming or construction. The injury itself acts like a local trigger.
Okay, I need everyone to really listen to this next part. It is so important. I know it can be a habit sometimes to just grab some pills from the local shop when you have a headache. But if you have psoriasis, this can be really dangerous. You should never, ever start or stop any medication without talking to a doctor first. Some drugs can be huge triggers.
For instance, some really common medications for things like blood pressure or even malaria can set off psoriasis. And suddenly stopping steroid pills, which doctors sometimes use to control inflammation, can cause a massive severe rebound flare-up. This is exactly why being under a doctor's care is just non-negotiable.
And finally, let's not forget about the world right outside our door. The climate here in North Karnataka can get very dry, right? Especially in the winter. Well, all that dry air literally pulls moisture out of your skin. This weakens its natural protective barrier and can make the itching and flaking so much worse.
All right, we've gathered all the evidence. We've looked at the clues inside and out. Now it is time for the verdict, where we'll see why understanding all these different pieces is the absolute key to getting control.
But first things first, let's just bust some really harmful myths right now. Psoriasis is not contagious. You cannot catch it from another person. It is not caused by one single food, and it has absolutely nothing to do with being unclean or having poor hygiene. These ideas are just plain wrong, and they cause a lot of harm, so let's leave them in the past. So, here it is, the final verdict from our little investigation. Psoriasis is a multi-factor disease. There is no single culprit. It's not one bad guy. It's a whole team of factors working together. It's a complex mix of what you're born with and what life happens to throw at you.
When you boil it all down, it's this complicated dance between your genes and your immune system on the inside, and then a whole list of potential triggers on the outside. Things like your stress levels, your daily habits, the environment you live in, any infections or injuries you get, and yep, even some medications.
And that brings us to the most powerful and hopeful message of all. You can't change your genes, that's true. But what you can do is learn to identify and manage your triggers. By understanding what makes your psoriasis flare up, whether it's stress, a certain food, or the dry winter air, you take back control. Knowing your triggers is the first, most important step you can take to manage this condition and live a better, healthier life.